These are our 3TC boxes. We've got 2 under tray toolboxes and 1 big gore wing side toolbox for on top of the tray. That one's planning for so I can put my oil drums and whatnot in the ute during harvest and cropping. Just general storage, I guess, for the rest of the year. See how they look. Flash one. I'm quite happy with that. The boxes I got for the other tray, the under tray toolboxes, they were TC, so I was very impressed with the thickness of material and the build quality. And this one on first inspects is quite good too. Very solid build. Nice solid shelf. Should be able to put whatever I want on top of there within reason. Hopefully it's nice and sealed and keeps the dust out. Very nice. Huh. Let's tape the toolbox. I thought I bought a square one. Well, the paperwork says square under tray toolbox, pair. But they do look the same as the picture. Well, that's got me stumped. I'll have to look up my emails, I guess. Anyway, I just would have rathered a nice square toolbox. So the genius in the warehouse who was picking the boxes has picked the tapered box instead of the square under tray toolbox. Oh well, I could make a fuss and send it back, but then I'd have to post these back and then wait for new ones to come back, and who knows if the right ones would show up. Or I think these were on back order at the time, so yeah. I do like the look of these ones, just the square ones were going to be more functional for a work ute. These tapered ones, if I was putting them on the town ute, I definitely like the tapered ones better because you get a better departure angle. So yeah, oh well, probably end up sticking with tapered ones, I guess. Stay tuned. Righto, I'm over that disappointment. So we're going to measure this box up, the big box, so we can try and get the angle the same for the headboard. This is 40mm and the edge of the tray is 50, so we've got to add 10mm because the toolbox is going to have to be spaced up 10mm from the base of the tray, so this clears the side of the tray. So yeah, it'll be measurement from there to there plus 10mm will give us our working distances for the headboard, and then we got to take that angle. I don't know whether we'll go with that height or what we'll go, but yeah, it'd be nice to try and get the angles the same so it doesn't look funny. Well, that was way more effort than it should have been. Oh, every time I go to use this program, SketchUp, I've got to relearn it. So don't copy anything I did on the computer. If you want to draw something on SketchUp, YouTube SketchUp and copy them, because yeah, it took me a while to get in the rhythm. Anyway, I got it done. So that's it, and when I've got it how I want, I just take a screen cap of the screen and any measurements I want off that, I print off the screen cap and write it on. There's probably an easier way to do it, but this is just a quick and nasty way of how I do it. So there's the drawing. So I've written down the outer and inner measurements of everything, as well as the angle to be cut and the angle that it is. So that's a 20-degree bend. That's a 110-degree bend. And so to make that angle right, it's 470mm on the log edge, 461mm on the short edge, and it'll be an 80-degree cut through the steel. And the top one's 388 and 345, and a 55-degree cut up the top here, and then the long side up the top's 1594 and 1524 on the short side. And then I've got to cut 2 of those, so that'll do that side and that side, and 2 of those, and that'll do that side and that side. So I should go and cut that and weld it all together now while it's fresh in my head, but I've got to go spraying, so you got to keep the main job running. So quick disclaimer, I'm by no means an expert, I'm just having a go. There's probably better ways to do everything I do, but I'm just showing you guys how I do it. Righto, I've hit a bit of a wall for motivation and getting things done. It's a Sunday, it's raining, it's a late start. I'm doing stuff that involves different angles, and it's not just the angle you want at the end, you got to split that so you can get a nice finish like that can be ground back at the end. And so yeah, stuff that is super simple in my head, and you think it's right, you go measure it out and cut it, and then you're like, no, that's not right, then have to go redo it again. So yeah, that's slowed the motivation. And yeah, it's just this, well, the last couple of years really, it feels like I've worked more weekends than not, and we're currently in lockdown now. Been in lockdown for 2 weeks, which don't get me wrong, I'm super lucky because I've got nothing but space. But when you've worked, yeah, most weekends in the last 2 years, it's just, yeah, hard to keep going. Anyway, bitching and moaning won't do me any good, so I've just got to keep rolling and keep at it. So today I don't think I showed welding the tail light guards, just because I was scratching my head so much with that. So they're all welded up. I've got to make the backing plate for them now, which I'll just use this bit of offcut I've got here. Hopefully that's long enough. No, it's not long enough, so there goes today's plans. No point doing one without the other in case I end up having to use different steel. Oh, damn it. That's it. I'm done. Well, I went and had a few hours off, played with Cooper for a bit, watched the end of a movie that we started last night before we got too tired. Then I got pretty itchy feet, and George gets a bit annoyed when I start pacing around the house, so thought I'd come do a bit more. So got to flip the tray over so we can start working on the headboard. Got the cutting list here for the headboard. Hopefully get that all welded on today. And then because we don't have the backing for the tail lights, there's not much else we can do other than pull the tray off the work ute. And I don't really want to do that until I have everything done I possibly can have done, sort of, before I do start ripping that off. I'll probably end up doing the opposite. But anyway, I don't want the work UTE out of action for any longer than it needs. Because once the tub comes off, I'll mount the do all the mounts for the tray before the checker plate gets welded in, because that way you can just come at it from all angles. Get all the mounts done and sitting right, and then pull it back off. Then I'll weld the checker plate in. Hopefully the draw's done by then, so weld the drawer in. And then yeah, just the back tail light things, some mounts for the toolboxes, work out where the big toolbox is going to go and do all the mounts for that. And that'll sort of be it. So it seems like not much, but it'll take a while to get it all done. Anyway, that's where we're up to. So today, just flip the tray over and do the headboard, and that'll be me done. At least I'll feel like I've gotten something done with my day. Right, we've got our 5 bits cut. Those two are those two, and those two are those two, and that one's that one. Hopefully it all fits together right, otherwise I'll be cutting into another length of steel. Right, she's all up. The headboard ended up like half a degree out between one side and the other side, so that's fine by me. It'll probably end up pulling more than that when I'm welding, so I'll just have to keep an eye on that, try and move around where I'm welding at, because if you get one spot too hot, it'll just start pulling everything out of plumb. Yeah, good to see that done. Ended up a bit gappy there for some reason. And if you're wondering why I use the little angle grinder to do all my angle cuts and not the big drop saw, I just can't get the big drop saw to cut straight on the angle cuts. You get everything sitting perfectly, and I don't know if it's because I pull too hard down when I'm cutting through, or it's just the nature of the beast and you can't get them right, but the blade just seems to always arc out. And it doesn't seem to matter too much when you're doing 90s, and doesn't do it as bad when you're just doing a 90 degree cut. But when you're doing the 30s and 45 degree cuts, it just, yeah, it ends up way out of plumb. And the last job I did, I had like a 10mm gap that I had to fill up, which luckily it wasn't too structural where I was welding the 10mm gap, but yeah, certainly it was far from ideal. Anyway, so I've got all this tacked and I'll go through and weld it all now. Oh, and I've also got to weld all them too on top there. Now it's flipped. So currently cutting out the taillight guards or backing plate. Don't do it yourself. Don't cut them out. It's just annoying. You can get little backing things that space the taillights I'm using out. so they don't have to be flush. But because I want them flush, I've got to cut every little thing out, and again with the angles, try and get it right. So I've cut with a little angle grinder the lines for it. Now the little angle grinder's too big, so now I've got to blow through with the plasma cutter on the ends, and hopefully I won't make too much of a mess, because I think the plasma cutter needs a new tip. Cut would be pretty wild. Anyway, that's where I'm up to. Yeah, I was at the hospital today getting my eyes checked, because on Friday night something bounced into my glasses and hit my eye. I thought it could be something embedded, so I thought I'd better get it checked out, but in the end it was all good. It had come out and just left a mark there. That's why I've got yellow eyeshadowy looking stuff. My 240 air compressor's dead, so now I got to start the petrol one, which is never a bad thing, because it's nice to give it a run every now and then. Not too bad. So we've got all our tail light backings cut out and sitting there. I'm just going to weld that on, that side and that side. Then we're still waiting. I went to town yesterday to get checker plate. They've got different sizes in there to when I did my last tray, so I had it all measured up. The same as that for the bearers. One sheet was meant to end there, and then I was just meant to have a little bit going there, I think. So I had it all measured up for that, and it didn't suit the sheet sizes I had in there. So then I had to come back, re-measure, and then I just rang through the order, and they're going to cut it for me and have it waiting for me hopefully on Friday. And they said they'll have the drawer all done for me by Friday too, all pressed out and cut out, and I'll just then have to weld it all together. So at this point, all I can do is weld the tail light backings on and do a heap of grinding. Yeah, get up to date with the grinding so it's not such a big job at the end. 2-3 hours left of grinding, should get me close. So I've spent most of the week spraying, spreading, a few other odd jobs on the farm, building that oversized sign bracket for the tractor we bought at the start of the year, which has got room for 2 fire extinguishers to mount on for a bit of fire safety. I was hoping that the checker plate and all the pressed steel for the drawer would be ready, but still waiting on that. So I'm going to press ahead and pull the tub off the ute so I can mount the tray on the ute, get all the brackets done, so then when I do the drawer that can all just be welded straight on. I think once I get the tray mounted on the ute this time and take a few measurements for the rear toolbox, I was going to say that'll be the last time it'll be on the ute until it's painted. But it'll have to have the drawer go on and the checker plate go on, and then go back on there to work out the mud guards, how they're going to work. Sort of, yeah, depending on the room I've got from the side of the tray to the chassis. There will depend on how big the mud guards can be and how long they need to be and the angle they need to be at. So it's sort of not something I want to just take an educated guess at in case it's wrong, because I don't want to have to redo it. So today, pull the lights off, those lights off, and get all the wiring out of that. I just tried to pull this toolbox out, but one bolt on that's been stubborn and won't come out. Just, yeah, it had to be slapped on there a couple of months ago to hold it on, because all the brackets that were on it all came loose. So that's, I'm gonna have to deal with that once the tub's off. So yeah, wiring, lights, there's 3 bolts on either side. The fuel filler, gonna have to deal with that, which shouldn't be too hard, hopefully, as long as it's the same as the other one. So yeah, should be able to just lift it off with a tractor. I'm just about to pull the tub off and just remembered something very important. To measure at the front of the tub to the ground and the back of the tub to the ground, and that'll give us our heights for our tray. I did a tray years ago that a mate built for me, and even though I made it sit slightly up at the back, it still looked bad because the bodies on the ute slope upwards. And yeah, so even if you have them sitting up a little bit at the back, they still look shocking. Yeah, so this one's 40 mil. So I'll make the tray 40 mil higher at the back of the tray than the front of the tray, or the same distance from the cab back to where the back of the tub was. And that should get my heights right. That's what I did on the last tray, and it worked out spot on. The old tub's definitely seen better days. She's off now. The ute's ready for another wash up. Hit that with a pressure washer, clean it all up, and then it'll be ready to do all the mounts on the tray. Really couldn't be buggered starting that tonight, so I'll just wash the ute, put the tub somewhere, find somewhere to dump it, and I think I'll call it a day, early knock off. So the next step is to mount the tray on here. Got that all washed up, ready to go. There was a lot of mud and muck just that had congregated in areas, so I got that all washed off the other day, and now just time to mount the tray on. Just drilled out the holes for the mounts. Now I've got to chop them with the angle grinder, then make the legs for the mounts, and then bolt these to the chassis, and then sit the mounts on top, and then just tack it all together.